Good morning, I'm Alan Maddox, and I tutor and life coach middle school students. The picture that you see in the cover of this um, video, live video, is part of as the students hopefully know, that's part of my classroom humor. When talking to middle school students, the other day, I'm trying to figure out how to even approach this because it's one small snapshot of what happened the other day. Is a group of kids came into a classroom I was subbing in. They weren't part of the classroom, but they know me, and they came in and they said, "Mr. Allen," some of them call me Mr. Allen, some call me Mr. Maddox. They're confused. I'm not. I go by both things. Anyway, Mr. Allen, we have champs after school. Can you come? And I'm like, okay, first of all, what's champs and why do you want me there? Champs, turns out, is an after school program for students that are kind of struggling academically, to help them get assignments done and cover any material that they really are struggling with. I thought that was a good thing. And generally, I'm out of the class by classroom about 2:20, 2:30, and I could hang out for a few minutes, not too long. I'm not really part of the program, so I didn't want to interfere with what the teachers all had set up for them to do. I just wanted to put my head in and see, why do I do that? I pound the table and the whole thing goes, ooh! I wanted to see what they were doing and why they wanted me there. Anyway, so I found them. They were in the library, in a corner of the library, and I stuck my head in the door and I go, Mr. Allen, come here. And I go over to talk to them, and the teacher's there. The teacher is one of the teachers that I know, that I have subbed for, and we get along pretty well. And they were kind of like sitting around goofing off, and she was getting a little perturbed with them because they were not doing anything, and they were just sitting around talking. And she told them to get their laptops out. Let's start getting work done. And I sat down and went from one to the next in a rotation, very as quickly as I could, but still spend time with each one of them to find out, what are you working on? What is the struggle with? And what can I do to help you? What can I do to help you get your assignments done and hand it in on time? They were working on stuff and doing things, and by the time I left with my bag of Jolly Ranchers half emptied, it was I was feeling pretty good. They were being productive. They were getting things done, and the teacher that was sitting there in charge seemed appreciative of what was going on. So my question is, why did they ask me to be there, and what happens? And this is something that happens on an ongoing basis, and I've been trying to figure it out for a while. And they said, one of the things that they said is that, Mr. Allen, you're our favorite substitute teacher. And I said, yes, that's because you're my favorite students. Being general, all of the students are my favorite students. I mean, you can't have a one favorite. I mean, it's just one of those things that's impossible to do. They're all fantastic kids, and I really enjoy working with them and being around them. They make me laugh. We get things done and we have fun. But that statement of you're our favorite sub kind of struck me as being funny. Not funny, haha, but like funny as peculiar, because I've heard this on occasion. And one of the students that was not in that group that invited me to the champs session was there as well, and he only had me in 2 classes, and he said, "Yes, you're my favorite sub." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you are." You know, they don't know. They don't know why, um, but I do, and I think I do anyway. And one of the reasons why is the way that I talk to them. And if you've ever read, and if you haven't, you should read um, the book from Dale Carnegie on how to win friends and influence people. I read this years ago when I was in the corporate world, and a lot of it struck home to me because it's the way that I like to handle people, and it's the way I like to interface with people. But a lot of people don't practice the 6 pillars of how to win friends and influence people. And one of the pillars that I use, and it's not an intentional use. It's one of those things that I think is just common sense on the way to treat people, and that is one of the pillars that I like to use the most is to listen to what somebody is saying and listen with sincerity. That means that you don't sit there going, yeah, yeah, yeah. People know that you're not listening when you do that. When you listen and actually listen to what they are saying, and you ask a question that digs deeper into what they are saying, they know that you are actually listening to them, and they will tell you more, and they will react accordingly. It's also the way that we should treat each other as adults. Now, this also stems back to another issue in that I treat middle school kids as, and I talk to them as I talk to adults. I don't dumb things down. I don't change um, the way I talk to them. Um, my tone of voice is no different than it is talking to you right now. So one of the things that also brings up, and now I know this is really disjointed, but you have to bear with me for a moment. In that is that kids this age are reaching out. They are trying to figure out who they are. They are experimenting with adolescence and what it means to be out of being a child and moving into becoming an adult. Once they start getting into high school, they get their confidence together. They know a little bit more about where they are. But in middle school, they're learning. They're learning emotions. They're learning all about how they are perceived and how they react to other people. And if we continue to talk to them as if they were children, they will continue to act like children. And this is the old tale of the child saying, why don't you just, why do you treat me like a kid? I'm all grown up. And the adult or the parent saying, I'll treat you like an adult when you start acting like an adult. Wrong. We're the adults. We need to treat them like adults. That way they will start to act like adults. And by doing it, you earn their respect more. They become more responsible. They start reacting and doing things that are more responsible. And I know that sometimes I'm like preaching to the choir, and I don't want to seem like I'm talking down to any adults, because I'm really not. It's just an observation that I have, that sometimes we as adults talk to middle school kids like they were still in elementary school, and they're learning that transition to get to high school. And we need to talk to them as adults, as we talk to other adults. And they will start to portray their confidence, and they will start reacting appropriately to our requests. Anyway, this went on a little bit longer than I thought it was. Take a read on the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, if you haven't. If it's been a while since you read it, go back and take a look at the 6 pillars again. Just kind of review it really quick and examine what it is. What pillars are you using with your kids? What pillars do you think you should try to be using with your kids? And I appreciate some comments below on how you feel about all of this. I know there are plenty of people who do agree with me. There are, I know of one podcaster who is a substitute teacher who says the exact same thing. And there's another substitute teacher in Pennsylvania, either, I think it's Pittsburgh, I'm not positive, Pittsburgh or Ohio. And he says the exact same thing that I am. So I know it's not, I'm not in this by myself. And I know that most of you are in this with me. So keep trying. Keep talking to them like they're adults, even though they drive you crazy. It's going to take a few years. We're not talking about immediate turnovers. It's going to take years for them to recognize and to be accepting their responsibilities as adults. Okay? If you found this interesting, like it, please subscribe. If you wish to see other videos like this, I may try to touch on the other 5 pillars. That there's other topics I'd like to talk about, and other things about tutoring and life coaching kids that I'd like to talk about. And I hope you find this interesting, and I'm looking forward to your comments. Thank you very much.